with something else, but we're good to continue once again right now. Let's jump back in and get into our second series of the day here, and it is going to be a little bit more PvT. As we have to the bottom right hand side from my Insanity, the blue Protoss player, this is PtitDrogo. And in the upper left hand side, the red Terran from Team Liquid, of course, taking his first series win already, is uThermal. 240 over 550 seems high. Yeah, well, we were on 540 subs a month or two ago, which is why the sub goal is at 550. We obviously need to change the sub goal away from 550 because we're obviously nowhere near 550 subs anymore. But that's why it was 550, because we were actually very close to it, but I just haven't updated it since then to make it a bit more realistic, I suppose. We'll go back towards 300, I think, as that's a pretty good goal to kind of aim for. We do see the Reaper on its way out on this barracks, and a command center starts to morph into an orbital, looking as though it is going to be the expansion here. Fast Reaper expand from uThermal. Meanwhile, Gate Nexus Core from, of course, PtitDrogo means that we're not seeing anything beyond, beyond crazy. It's nothing crazy to get us started here in this game number 1 of this best of 3. So setting up and looking to see where we're going to go, looking to see how this is going to be continuing as we go through these games. Just as a quick update from PtitDrogo, from Denver and Namshar, they are currently in game number 2 of their series. It's currently 46 drones apiece. Army supplies are dead even. Biggest difference is Namshar has missile attack upgrade, and Denver is actually still building his Rotron and going into Aspire. So Denver might be in some trouble in the long term. But that's just an update from that for now. Again, I'm hoping that later on the Russian streams will start to split up on matches so that they can cover a couple of different games, and so that there's at least a Russian stream option for you guys to jump onto in terms of being able to watch those other games happening here and there and all the rest of it. So fingers crossed that gets sorted out, as we will see the Stalker currently moving out onto the map for PtitDrogo. Already a Reaper jumps up onto the high ground, and we will see Twilight Council is about to finish up here from Drogo. So Twilight Council morphs now into a Blink upgrade, and again we're seeing more and more of this lately. The Twilight Council first. It's just kind of the transition away from Stargate again as the meta kind of goes on its cycle in TvP. We kind of have these stages where Stargate's very popular, very powerful, people seem to really enjoy it, and then sometimes people are like, well, you know what, actually Twilight Council is like, much better way to open. I get my blink early, I get my gateway units out, I can get a lot done with that, etc, etc. As you will see those couple of Stalkers poking away at that Reaper, and that Reaper of uThermal is pushed away over to the right hand side here. So Reaper getting pushed back up the right hand side, and we are going to be seeing now a couple of gateways coming down from Drogo. These couple of Stalkers from him just sat as part of this wall as well. Raven's on the way up here from uThermal, and this barracks is going to be jumping onto that tech lab very shortly as well. We've seen this build from him before today, or at least something similar to it, where of course it just sets him up in towards this, the stim pack, the combat shields and all the rest of it, some siege tanks, and he can start pushing from here. And it's very similar to what he was doing on Blackpink against Dandy, so we'll see what's going to become of this very soon. As, again, he's still got this Reaper alive to try and pick up info, but it's so difficult when the only entrance for Reaper is at the front of the natural. So, very difficult for Reaper to actually push through in this direction. As we will see a Stalker and a Pro pulling off over to the side. And, by the way, just as a quick update, Denver has just taken game at number 2 against Namshar, just as we were talking there. Just the Mutalist doing enough damage, and he is able to take that victory and to take the 2-0. And that is success for him in his first series of the day. Alright, so, continue on. Just want to double check, it is Dandy versus Denver, cool. So, Dandy versus Denver will be starting up on the NA server soon as well, guys. That will be continuing, and we'll be, again, swapping to that to give you guys some more updates here and there. Just trying to multitask a little bit today and give you guys as many of the games as possible. In general, I kind of like this 5-player group format because it gives us more matches overall, but of course we can't just make the players wait for 10 entire best of 3s to play out, so we we play out 2 at a time, and it means that we cast some from replays, but overall it is more StarCraft for us all to watch and enjoy. Anyways, we do see combat shields coming up, and we're just going to be seeing a second siege tank popping out. And again, tanks, marines, a raven, all these units from uThermal getting ready to go across the map here in the next few moments. So, we are going to be having this set of units pushing across, and of course this is the kind of powerful attack. It's interesting, isn't it? I thought last game uThermal had forgotten his stim pack and started combat shields instead, but it looks as though it's actually the plan. You know, it looks as though he wants combat shields for this push initially, and then to go in towards a stim pack later on. So, very interesting to see Drogo, some good control of these Stalkers, picking away at Marines as they run along here. One Stalker going down already, the tanks will turn as well, and they will get a couple of shots off. So little bits of damage being done here. Medevacs coming down towards the right-hand side, and again, just picking away at one of those Stalkers. It gets very low. Scan up to the high ground, and again, it's the Stalkers that are really trying to get something done, but good macro of uThermal lifting that tank up here. And now he's in a position, and the anti-armor missile hits very nicely onto a lot of those units. Siege tanks have to get a lot done, but the Stalkers come in from the other side. The Mortal gets tons of damage here as well. That sentry really needs to go down. That Guardian Shield was tanking a lot of hits from these Marines, as we're going to be seeing Stalkers, well, still kind of just poking away here with the anti-armor missile active. It looks as though this is going to be a cleanup, and that, well, is it? The missile turret comes down, buys a little bit more time. Marines are getting reinforced now, and they're about to have +1 as well. This is very, very interesting. We do see the Widowmine going down, and that is going to be the pick-off there, as you see a few more of those units in the center, able to fight away. So a few more units still just gathering in the lower right sides here, and we are going to be seeing uThermal pulling his units back up towards the upper left to try and see what's going to happen now. 2 upgrades on the way from Drogo, as we are going to be seeing these couple more Liberators on the way out, extra barracks coming down. uThermal set up into a 3rd CC behind this, but Drogo stabilized, right? I mean, he cleaned up that attack in the end. He's still got a few Stalkers on the map to come across and poke and prod. And we can see what happens next, as we're going to be seeing a Marine or 2 already being picked away at. Again, just finding whatever he can with these Stalkers to help slow the Terran player down so far in this game. A couple of Liberators, again, about to be popping out. It's going to be a lot of Liberator production from uThermal, as we see this starport moves over to this reactor here, so it's going to be a lot of Liberator production very soon. Stalkers actually fun into a fight they can't quite take. Maybe if they'd blinked and targeted the Medevacs faster, we just didn't quite have that going in time to really make it work out for him. As more of these units into the center of the map, where the mine goes off, actually hits quite nicely on a few of those Zars, but obviously this isn't the main army from uThermal, so he can't afford to properly fight this, and so he might actually still lose these Medevacs. A blink forwards will find him 1, and probably the second as well. There it is, going down. uThermal doesn't even have that much over here. When you look at his army, I guess a few more units from the right side will help out, and the power of those Liberators will go a long way as well. Against a fairly low Stalker count, I guess it's actually enough to fight it for now. We are going to see War Prism in the main, but that's getting shut down pretty quick. It doesn't quite fall, so the Zealots do get to come up here. Liberators will try and chase the Prism down, and it's just not quite in range. So a little bit of a shame, but actually Drogo's not going to get too much damage done here at all, as these Zealots are going to start being cleaned up. I mean, he loses a couple of Marauders, but at the end of the day, he's actually going to kill the Zealots without losing too many SCVs, and that's the most important part here, as we're going to be seeing just 1 Zealot left over. At the same time, though, Drogo strikes up the front, and he is making good progress here, because the Liberators are all in the main base, and this kind of bio or gateway-focused army is getting quite a lot done. The anti-armor missile obviously came in there. Now as the Liberators come in from the other side, there should be no problem for the Stalkers just to blink in and to get rid of those Libs, although there is a lot of them and they are continuing to siege on up. The bio numbers are just continuing to fall, and the Liberators, they can do as much damage as they want, but it's not quite enough, and Drogo will take game number 1 for 2 off this best of 3. As we do start to the bottom right hand side with our red Protoss player from My Insanity. This is PtitDrogo. And to our upper left hand side, the blue Terran player from Team Liquid is uThermal. Okay then, guys. game number 2. And uThermal, it's in the SCV across the map, but not in time to proxy. You know, his barracks is about to start building in the main base already. This is the SCV coming across to block the natural with the engineering bay. And of course, once you block the natural with an engineering bay, you can definitely slow the Protoss player down quite a bit. We'll see if this is going to be in time for uThermal, because I feel as though Drogo is not far away from pulling a probe down and getting that Nexus rolling. I mean, 300 minerals, but it is quite a trek for this worker, but of course, I'm sure it's timed out for uThermal to hit at the right time. And as he arrives, he is going to be able to get that engineering bay going. And again, slow things down for PtitDrogo in these early stages, just stop him from taking the natural. Now, of course, he can take a bit of a safer natural here, but it does only have 4 mineral patches, so it's not something you want to do. So we'll see what Drogo's response to this is going to be. It's kind of the cool thing about getting to see a couple of TvPs back to back between the same Terran playing a different Protoss. If you see the same Terran builds being used, again and again, but then you have different Protoss kind of responses, it's fun to just see how they kind of differ and all the rest. And Drogo just goes straight to the back, so he doesn't seem to care about this being a half base. Obviously, it's not ideal, but it will do for now, and he'll probably just move towards this base as a faster third as soon as he can, as soon as he gets the units out to actually get rid of that engineering bay. Of course, that'll take a little while, but will come up in the near future. We are going to see this Reaper is on the way out, going to pop, and is going to start coming out onto the map here into the natural, and is going to start fighting against this probe as well. Gets the kill. Probe doesn't really pick up any further info. I mean, nothing really else for to see. And we are going to see that Reaper heading down to the bottom right-hand side. What's the Foxer in the chat asking, hey, Wardy, how's the blue raspberry flavour for Sneak? If I've tried it, that'd be the one you'd want to probably try the most out of the 3 flavours. So that's actually the one that I have, because I was the same. I think blue raspberry is... I'm not much of a cherry guy, so for me the blue raspberry was the one that kind of stood out to me. So that is the one that I got. I like it. If you have, like, do you know what the blue... I don't know if this is a thing in, like, America and stuff, but, like, you know, like slush drinks, like ice drinks, like, sort of thing? It tastes like the blue ones of those, only not quite as sweet, I would say. But it does have a similar sort of effect to it, so yeah, I like it. I think it's nice. It's something I genuinely do drink every day, whether I'm on stream or off stream now. So yeah, I like it. I can only recommend out of pure genuine recommendation. Finally, this engineering bay goes down. Obviously, it wasn't a big deal for it to rebuild because Drogo doesn't want a super fast third base, but wants to open it up for the potential in the future. And Drogo is going to change it up with the Stargate now finishing. So Drogo changing this up quite heavily and going in towards this Oracle to get things started. So we're going to be following this just as this happens, guys. Let's have a quick follow of an attack taking place over in Dandy versus Denver. Dandy is pushing in with a lot of Adept, Zealots, and an Immortal. There's War Prism here as well. There isn't really anything to get rid of the War Prism, and this Immortal is chewing its way through his roaches. However, there isn't Charge and there isn't Glaives or anything, and he is going to lose the Prism now. And that's going to hurt him a little bit. We're just showing this in the picture-in-picture, in case you're wondering what the flip I'm talking about. Dandy's done a lot, but I'm not sure if he's done enough, although he is starting to overwhelm. As long as he can kind of survive against the next few Zerglings, he may very well have done this, although... oh, it's super close over there. Meanwhile, we do see a couple of Adepts and an Oracle just to focus up on this game again in the PvT. They're going to fly on in. Widowmine gets a good connection initially, though, and the Widowmine doesn't even go down as the Oracle gets targeted. A very nice cleanup here from uThermal. There's also in that ZVP. Denver does clean up, but he took a lot of damage in the process. Losing that War Prism was absolutely huge there for Dandy. That could have been the game changer. Anyways, continuing on here, we do see, again, that was a good defense from uThermal in this PvT. And so we are going to be having him Drogo throwing down a third Nexus, going into a couple more gates, but definitely not in a great position. Lost 2 Adepts, a Zealot, and an Oracle to kill not even the Widowmine. The Widowmine actually stayed alive, which is just genuinely impressive considering the situation, if I'm going to be honest. As we do see another couple Marines dropping down towards the low ground. And we do see this factory is starting up a tech lab, starport as well. A couple of barracks here from uThermal are going to be... continue to build themselves, although for now momentarily delayed, as this Oracle actually does find quite a bit of decent damage here, as wow, I don't know what the hell I just pressed, but I don't know how I paused the game there. Alright, so we do see the recall on the Oracle. 3 workers going down. I have absolutely no idea what I just pressed. What do you press to pause the game from not even on the menu? That was super strange. Right? Like, what the hell was that? I'm so perplexed. Well, we do see the blink on the way up right now from Drogo. Chrono boosting that out. The Forge is continuing to come on in as well here, so as the Forge comes through, he's just looking to get into towards the later stages of this game. Similar to uThermal, Stimpack, Combat Shields, and +1. Those upgrades that are going to make his later stages of the game a lot more useful, as we can see. Oh, this Widowmine, well positioned to grab himself the Oracle kill. No Oracles on the map kicks away so much of the presence here from PtitDrogo and so much of the potential which he has to really get a lot done, I feel. I mean, just really allows uThermal to be a little bit more free, doesn't have to worry so much, and to the point where Drogo even starts up another Oracle to be able to keep track of what uThermal is doing. So, just going to be seeing that Oracle is about to come on up here in the next few moments. And we are going to have the push across the map from this to, again, I guess, just keep on reveling, keep the information rolling over the next few moments, of course, as well. Meanwhile, by the way, again, just in Dandy versus Denver, this game is about to end because Denver was able to hold that attack in the end, only just, and now Dandy is unable to hold on to the counterattack, and so it looks as though it is indeed going to be Denver taking the 1-0 lead against Dandy. Again, another close game though, really, Dandy showing some potential here, and even until the very end, he's fighting and trying to hang on, but that is going to be a Denver 1-0 in the next few moments. Well, we do see an Oracle coming down through the south side, and again, just looking for drops, I suppose, at the moment. Maybe aware of the fact that uThermal is at that sort of stage where the first medevacs are on the map, and where we can start to see these medevacs looking to get some damage done. So, a couple of medevacs coming down to the south side, and an observer comes over to the left here to see what else is going on. And, yeah, we'll see if he can get some damage done. The Oracle, obviously, didn't quite see this coming in, and now going to see a pylon going down and powers a few of the gateways, and that's just going to be uThermal lifting up and getting out of there in plenty of time. Doesn't want to stick around too long, you know, doesn't want to lose too many units, so just a very respectful drop, I would say. You know, gets in, kills a pylon, and then he gets out before the units of Drogo come in and before he loses too much here overall. Going to be seeing a couple more barracks in the natural, finishing up here as uThermal gets into more and more kind of setup for his mid-game, I suppose. We're going to be seeing +2 attack coming through, the +1 armor as well, extended thermal lance, charge upgrade also on its way right now for Drogo, as we are going to be seeing a few of these attacks. Continuing from uThermal, comes in towards this 4th base now, looking for a cancel here. First Colossus is in position, but not quite in position, it's out on the map. Ooh, Widowmine is actually going to get a couple of kills at least, so that's kind of cute. And uThermal ends up just backing away. So uThermal backs on up towards the top side. Again, another scan coming down as he thinks about dropping the main, but with this army being revelated, there's absolutely no way for him to really commit to this right now. So these units are going to have to come back up towards the top side. Another few Marines and Marauders continue to come in and along. And we see the 4th Command Center of uThermal dropping down in the 4th location as well, so just continue to get that set up and rolling. Both these players, I mean, really heading in towards the more macro-oriented game, right? I mean, we're getting multiple bases up, they're both looking for the later stages here. This is a nice pick-up from Drogo as he will blink again for this next medevac, right? Although there's a few more units showing up, with those little squares making things a little bit more awkward, Drogo will decide to pull away rather than to continue pushing down through the center. There's that 4th base on the way up from uThermal, and 4 more Liberators on the way out. He's got so many Liberators flying to the right-hand side. That's bad for him because the Stalkers will blink in. I just don't think uThermal realized they were off on a bit of a different direction, so he loses 2 of them. That's painful, and it's also a sign of to Drogo as to what is to come. uThermal playing with just 3 medevacs on the map, and has gone into Liberator production so quickly here that his Liberator count truly is scary in these very early stages of game number 2. I mean, 10 minutes in, it's not super early, right? But in terms of having Liberators on the map, it's still pretty early. And he's going to start going for this larger drop now. couple of Marines see the army coming over here. He'll scan. Obviously wants to try and avoid it for the most part. An observer here will give Drogo the information that this army is coming in towards his main base, and he will just begin to turn away. Not a recall, just to turn away. Some Zealots and a High Templar will warp in, but I'm not sure how much they will do if these Liberators just siege themselves up and give the rest of the army a chance to come through. The feedback comes down on one of the medevacs though, and that's a full medevac going down there right away. But again, this position is looking as though it's a little bit vulnerable right now. Some probes already going down from some of these liberation circles. And here comes the army now pushing into position. The Stalkers are going to be able to fight this without the Liberators kind of being in range. As they blink, they get themselves just a medevac. Actually, the fact that the Liberators survived this is very impressive. And this is a nice little bit of bio coming up here as well. The Liberator actually doing quite a bit to help out. These shield batteries in position 2, and this will be a recall from our Protoss player to get away from this one. A blink to clean up the Liberator, and this little bit of bio might have to stim once again to continue running away to continue backing off over to the left-hand side. Again, just going to be seeing a couple of Widowmines mid-map here, are seen by observers or so, and so this isn't going to be much of an issue. This observer there means scan, try and maybe take it down with some Widowmine play, but we are going to be seeing more of these Liberators sieging up, and that's the issue for Drogo. How do you push into that many Liberators? You don't. You have to try and attack around them. You have to try and move in different locations, but that's not going to happen, and that's where you probably need to get the fleet beacon up and in towards another Stargate, and really start aiming towards the later stages of your game here, because realistically, with this many Liberators, you're probably not going to have a great time. So here we go, we do see the Liberator sieging up as uThermal getting aggressive, and you can see why it's going to be scary. This Liberator force is going to be so powerful as an Oracle does hit a good revelation. Once again, just keeping that army revealed here and allowing Drogo to see what is happening. Another couple of medevacs about to pop out as another scan drops down, and Drogo opening up pathways to try and attack from some different directions, get some flanks on this army. A couple of Stalkers up on the high ground here will be doing okay until Marauders show up, then it really will be good night to these guys because there's no real way to survive this. As we will see the big load up. Ooh, this is in trouble. This is actually really troubling for uThermal. He'll lose a couple of Liberators, but now obviously Drogo's very out of position and his recall is on cooldown. Oh my god, there's going to be some High Templar, but there's only, I don't think a single one of these medevacs has the energy to go down instantly with the feedback, so I don't think that's even going to be that big of a play. As we see the Liberator sieging up, it's going to be goodbye to at least one Templar. Yeah, just one Templar going down. There's a Void Ray on its way up, it's going to get taken down as well. Even losing the Stargate now slows down the potential for Fleet Beacon and, Tempest, as we were just talking about. That's actually kind of a big deal at this point, because it really is something that could go a long way in terms of cleaning up this Terran army. You're going to see this Bioforce coming around, looking to hit this base down here, continuing to harass as he is, maybe even going to fight here with these Liberators in position. He's not going to unsiege as fast as he did last time. He's going to leave the Liberators behind. They are doing a lot, man. Look at this. High Templars are going down. And there's not even that many Stalkers to clean them up in the end. Eventually, of course, it'll fall as uThermal drops down at this base, though, and he is going to find himself yet another Nexus. Over here, he's killed off a lot of workers, too, and he's going to find more. Suddenly, 32 workers have gone down, and uThermal is really pushing himself into an amazing position here in game number 2. He is behind on upgrades. He's an entire set of upgrades behind, but obviously his game plan is just to stop Drogo from mining at all, and if Drogo can't mine at all, he's probably not going to have a great time as these medevacs get out of there. And this base goes down as well. I mean, his bio units are still getting so much done. Drogo can't even remax if he had the money, because he'd need pylons all over again, and of course that's not something you want to be doing 14 minutes into the game, rebuilding pylons en masse. Stalkers here helping to clean out on the far right hand side, as we are going to be seeing a few more medevacs continue to come through the center, and just seeing what they can get up to in the next few moments. So getting and towards this here, these medevacs coming all the way to the right, but they are going to run into a bit of an army. They're going to see 2 Colossi and a few Stalkers. They'll just back away. They're actually pretty high energy medevacs, so they could really do with a little bit of energy being used so they don't get feedbacked instantly. One of these medevacs is going to die. You can see him start to unload it already just to get as much out as he can. But he's back in position in uThermal. All he really has to do is defend this attack, and he is going to be able to potentially make this work out here. So let's see what happens. These Liberators are sieging up, and we are going to be seeing the the defense is made, right? I mean, you just can't push into the Liberators. Meanwhile, drops across the map and powers the forges and gateways. Dropping the natural is not really doing a lot because of the shield battery, but the potential is there to continue if it doesn't get dealt with. So dropping the main, that's the biggest issue of all, as uThermal just moves his Liberators up to the high ground here to deal with these, well, with this attack coming in. The Storms are pretty good though, and the Liberators are starting to go down. He did get rid of a lot of the anti-air. A lot of the Stalkers are disappearing. There's only really Storms left over, and he is going to continue storming, although now the High Templar continue to die. And we are going to be seeing continue to push up this left-hand side. Drogo is going to type back GG, well played. And Drogo takes game number... uThermal takes side 1-1. And with that, we are jumping into game 3 to see what's going to happen as we continue onwards. To the bottom left-hand side, our red Terran player. This, from Team Liquid, is uThermal. And he's going up against the blue Protoss on the upper right-hand side from my Insanity, PtitDrogo. It is a proxied barracks by uThermal. We've seen this before. His biggest kind of plan with this is seemingly to try and block the Nexus when the player decides not to expand, because they see no barracks. So he builds a Reaper, then he blocks the Nexus for the barracks, because again, the Nexus is generally delayed by Protoss players to prioritize the Cybernetics Core, the Zealot, and other units to help defend basically the fact that this is a proxied barracks to begin with. Now the PtitDrogo does stick around, so he does see this factory right away, which again is something I was talking about in that Dandy series. So kind of nice to see that, and we are going to be seeing the SCV chasing down the probe at the moment out into the center of the map. So SCV chases the probe out into the middle, and in the meantime, that Reaper just finishing up. And again, there's the barracks. Not actually going to lift up here because he sees that the Nexus has already started, so he can't actually block it. It's not too much of a delay then from Drogo on the Nexus, as we are going to be seeing the Reaper coming around and trying to get a little bit of damage done. We'll be able to, I think, get... Oh my god, these probes are so low, by the way. There's one probe here which is on the gas, which he does just get now. But the other probe is actually going to get their shields back up, and with the Adept, it really forces this Reaper into certain locations and not others. Wow, that Reaper just gets out of there alive. Very, very nicely done, as we're going to be seeing this Reaper backing away and just going to be sat over on the right-hand side. Well, Barracks does float forward still. We'll be looking for some scouting information here as the starport comes up. A Cyclone on its way down as well at the moment, as we see the Stargate is on the way up in the top side. So, Stargate coming through, and again a couple of these Reapers looking to see what they can do. What's up, Port? How you doing today? Port 80 still see in the chat, coming in away a sub to Clock Bash. What's up, Clock Bash? Welcome back to the Wardy family. Thank you, Port, for the sub gift, your 49th sub gift of the channel. Wow, that's kind of cool that they added it so that you can, so that they track sub gifts that were previously given out as well before they added that feature. That's cool. 1 away from 50. Magic number for some reason, I don't know. It's nice and round. 49 is a nice number too. 7 squared, 49. It's a cool one. Cyclone arrives to uThermal though. This game is again obviously pretty aggressive, as we are going to be seeing these Reapers continue on the probes, and they're going to come around now and actually help out with the Adept, which gets not quite blasted there, but now it's a Stalker. The Oracle obviously makes a big difference in this, as the Oracle's going to be able to clean up, but my gosh, I mean, he loses the Stalker as well, splits the Reapers just to buy more time where this Oracle has energy activated. He loses so much energy chasing these Reapers around that now the Oracle can't be aggressive, and uThermal is the one who's applied all of the pressure in these early stages, and despite the earlier Nexus of Drogo, the CC of uThermal is going to be coming up at a time where he can still keep himself in a pretty decent working count between the two of them. Just going to be seeing a few probes moving in towards the third natural expansion once again. A shield battery starts up once more. This time the Cyclone backed away. It might be waiting for a second Cyclone to be able to fight against the Oracle a bit more easily. If you can get rid of the Oracles here, it'd be amazing, because obviously as he goes into Banshees and Cloak, getting rid of the potential detection is a huge thumbs up from uThermal's point of view. Let's see if this is going to work out. He gets the Oracle with the energy. Even just forcing the Pulsar Beam is less energy for Revelations later. So this actually still works out for him, you know. Yes, it's like, okay, well, maybe the Cyclone doesn't get too much, maybe he gets just a single Stalker, but the fact this Banshee now is going to be able to arrive with Cloak and there's, you know, Oracles again with less energy than usual, that's going to be painful. And at some point here, maybe even Drogo tries to get across the map with the Oracles, although that actually might be a bit of a disaster for him. Another couple of Stalkers just going to finish warping in, and that barracks pushed up once again towards the high ground, just trying to get rid of this location here. And again, the Oracle's being forced to come forwards, and there's the energy being used on the Oracles with the Pulsar Beam rather than for the Revelation, and that means goodbye probes. He starts a shield battery in the main mineral line where, of course, I mean, Banshee taking 2 shots to kill a probe, it means that it is some guaranteed, you know, saves on probes. There's this Oracle coming through. Again, there's just no Revelation here. 5 probes down, and there is a couple of shield batteries in range now and then on this position, but it's not always in range of these probes depending on where they're mining, and that means that uThermal is just picking up the kills at the moment. Look at this. I mean, 10 workers dead, and now the probes are starting to actually pull away a little bit more towards the shield batteries. That one was just a moment or two away. This shield battery is going to come into play in a second, and the Revelation comes down to get rid of the Banshee. Viking lands in the main base, it's going to move forwards, but again, the shield battery is done now. Maybe he just goes for... I mean, I guess he drained the energy on the shield battery, and there's a lot to be said for that. The Oracles don't really want to pop their Revelation again, right? Because if they pop their Revelation... sorry, not their Revelation, their Pulsar Beams to deal with the Viking, then of course you lose a little bit more once more. Couple of depots coming up on this side, and we are just waiting to see what the next little stage of this will be. A few SCVs repairing away at one of these Cyclones, a few Marines jumping into a bunker. Engineering Bay with the +1 attack coming through. The Stimpack starts up as well in the tech lab, and again, uThermal going into his mid-game with a lot of damage dealt in the earlier stages here. Again, it cost him a lot. He lost a couple Cyclones, he lost himself a Banshee, but he forced shield batteries. You know, he actually got quite a few kills along the way. And you know, this Banshee will even get another couple of kills as well, as the eventually the shield battery doesn't quite have what it takes to keep on healing up. Again, just more damage being dealt. The Phoenix comes in and we'll be able to get rid of this, but maybe one more probe. Goes back towards other shield batteries, but still goes down. Again, another 5 workers killed. Stalkers on the map, they don't even have blink, so what can they really do here? Not a lot, honestly. It's against a bunker, a siege tank, and 4 Cyclones. There's basically nothing they can do. You know, what do you do? Push up this ramp into this? No, no way. It's just not going to work. It just doesn't happen, right? So what do you do at this sort of a stage? I'm not too sure. I'm going to be seeing the Oracles in the main though, going for Stimpack. The Oracles do, Cyclones do lock on, and they actually will get 1 kill. Scan to try and confirm a 2nd kill, and he gets it. Worthwhile then, and they obviously keeping the Stimpack alive. Very important as well. Good save there by uThermal. This Drogo going to try and push up the natural, but it's not working out for him just yet, as we are going to see the tanks in the bunker able to push those Stalkers away. Again, a few more of these units just gathering themselves together, getting ready to potentially just keep on pushing across the map here in the next few moments. As we have a moment or two of calmness, just want to point out a big fight in Dandy versus Denver. It looks as though Denver's winning out on what is a tail end of this big kind of +2 attack timing, and as you can see, he's going to be cleaning out of pretty much everything. So actually, it looks as though Denver is just about to win Game 3, and there it is. Denver taking Game 3 over in that series against Dandy. Very nicely played for him, as he does end up with a win, but again, it wasn't a clean one. It took him a little while to get there. Well, uThermal has been pushing across the map, and so as he comes across here, these tanks, Cyclones, and Marines are all setting themselves up to try and get a little bit of something done here. The tanks going to siege again, and you can see the Stalkers, Sentries, and a couple of Zards peeling away to the right-hand side. A Stim comes down. We'll see a few of these probes getting targeted already, as, I mean, this is a really awkward position. You have to come down a ramp towards this army. uThermal just did so much earlier. He slowed down PtitDrogo so heavily. He's able to clean up, and he's able to make things work. That's GG's, and uThermal takes Game 3, and that's going to